Hey there, and welcome back to another episode of Fishing with Kagan. In this one, we packed up the kayaks and made the trip up to Orlando, Florida, where our friend Tom graciously offered to let us stay at his incredible vacation home and fish the private lake it sits on. And let me tell you, from the second we pulled into the driveway, it felt like we'd stepped into another world. Orlando traffic was behind us, and in front of us was what looked like a tropical garden wrapped around a hidden lake. The landscaping around Tom's house is next level. He owns a nursery, so the place was filled with lush plants and wild colors. You could tell it was built by someone who understands how to create an experience. Peeking through the cypress trees lining the lake, we could already see the water shimmering, and we were itching to get baits in. The shoreline near the dock looked crazy healthy. Overhanging trees, luscious grass, and patches of lilies just begging for a topwater cast. Jerry immediately pointed out bluegill bedding underneath the dock, and the sight of those cypress trees draped in Spanish moss, it felt like something out of a storybook. I climbed up to the dock's second level just to get a better look, and yeah, it didn't disappoint. You could see the patches of lily pads drifting off the bank, little pockets of open water in them, and all of it just glowing in the light. This place looked like textbook bass country. As we were soaking it in, we spotted a small gator cruising across the lake. That ended up being the only one we saw the whole trip, which honestly kind of surprised me. But he minded his business, and so did we. The plan was to fish the following day. We had friends to meet up with that night in Orlando, but we couldn't help ourselves. We grabbed rods, walked down the dock, and started making a few casts just to test the water. And sure enough, immediate payoff. We pulled in a couple of solid bass right off the bat. Nothing huge, but strong fighters and healthy fish. And then Jerry? Well, he hooked into something a little different.
He's a monster.
He'd landed a massive bowfin, also known as a mudfish. These prehistoric-looking things are native to Florida and sometimes mistaken for invasive snakeheads. They've got a big, powerful tail, a heavy head, and a mouth full of sharp teeth that you do not want your fingers near.
That's awesome.
Getting the hook out takes some caution, unless you're okay donating a little blood to the cause.
He's a beast.
It was an awesome way to kick off our stay here, and it gave us a pretty clear idea of what kind of action we might be in for. The next morning, we were seriously fired up to get on the water. The lake was like glass, the sun was shining, and the whole place felt calm, but full of potential. We got the kayaks down to the shoreline and started getting everything prepped. Normally, it's just the two of us on the water, but today we brought along the third kayak because Tom, the legend who owns this incredible property, was going to join us for part of the day and try out fishing from a kayak for the first time. While we waited for him to arrive, Jerry and I decided to have a little fun. We were already at the edge of this insanely productive lake. Why not toss around a few baits we don't normally get to throw?
Already?
I hadn't even finished tying on my first just for fun
Holy
lure
smokes.
before Jerry was already hooked up.
Is that your first cast? What the heck? There you go.
Right off the bat.
Awesome.
I was rigging up this sunfish wake bait that I love the look of, but almost never get to bring out. It's got this crazy topwater action, creates a wide rolling wake, and really stirs up the surface. I didn't end up landing anything on it this time around, but it was still awesome to see it work in such clear open water. There's something hypnotic about watching it roll and wake through the calm glass. The thing about fishing a place like this with almost no pressure is that the bass are ready to hit just about anything. So, we started pulling out baits we wouldn't normally throw, just to test them. Everything was fair game. That being said, we did have a game plan once we hit the kayaks. Baits we trusted and rigs we wanted to test. But for now, it was just fun watching bass come up and smash nearly anything we dropped near them. Eventually, I rigged up a weighted June bug worm, a tried and true classic, and within just a few casts, I had one on.
Hey, man.
Already, we were starting to see a trend. The fish we were pulling in, just off the dock, were already decent size. Healthy, hard-hitting, and definitely not shy. And if this was just the warm-up, we were seriously excited for what the rest of the lake had to offer. I swapped out my wake bait and tied on a perch-colored crankbait that swims just a foot or two under the surface. It had this perfect blend of flash and color, greens, yellows, and a bit of orange. First cast with it, and boom, fish on.
First cast out.
Starting to cast is better, baby.
All right.
Pretty fish.
Yeah. First cast out on this guy, not too bad.
Another solid bass. Just as I was releasing it, Tom rolled up and was ready to hit the water with us. But before we pushed off, I couldn't help tossing out just one last cast. One more fish. The kind of morning where it's almost hard to walk away from the bite. The shoreline was so lush with vegetation that the grass stretched way out into the water. We had to push the grass aside with the kayaks and make a narrow channel just to reach open water. But once we got through, it was go time. Drive systems in place, rods rigged, coolers packed with snacks and drinks. The sun was climbing, the sky was clear, and we were sitting in one of the most scenic, untouched places I've ever fished. We could already tell this was going to be a very good day. Just to keep things comfortable and give everyone room to fish, Tom and Jerry took the shoreline off to the left while I peeled off on the right, heading out solo into uncharted waters.
That was ambitious little guy. Holy cow. Look at you. Oh my gosh, he's so cute.
Even from the start, the vibe out there was just unreal. There's something hypnotic about being on the water in a place like this, surrounded by cypress trees, floating vegetation, and still morning light. It's calm, it's quiet, it's exactly the kind of place you want to get lost in for a few hours. Or 7. I decided to keep things simple. A worm on one rod, and on the other, a topwater prop bait to work across the lily pads. I had confidence in the perch-colored crankbait and knew I'd come back to it later. But with the layout of this shoreline, this was a frog zone all day. So I tried to get into the mindset. If I were a frog, hopping lily pad to lily pad, how would I move? It's not just about giving a lure action. It's about mimicking something real, something these fish actually feed on. And based on the chorus of frogs we heard the night before, these bass definitely knew the sound and splash of a frog. And then, out of nowhere, I got slammed. What came next turned into my new personal best. It started with the best kind of chaos, a huge topwater explosion. That weighted worm might be more consistent, but there is nothing like the commotion of a big bass blowing up on a surface bait. Right away, I could feel this was a different kind of fish. Heavy, aggressive, and smart. It dove hard for the lily pads, and I just focused on keeping tension, guiding it out, and praying the hooks stayed in. It broke the surface once. Huge head shake. I kept working it back towards the kayak, trying not to give even an inch. And just as I reached for the lip, the fish gave one last kick and threw the hooks, but not before I got my hand around its lip and locked it in. This was, without a doubt, the biggest bass I'd ever caught. The excitement was hard to contain. I was loud, I was buzzing, and I didn't care. That moment felt amazing.
Oh my God! Oh.
And what a way to start the morning. We had just launched.
Oh my gosh.
I was still close enough to the dock that Jerry paddled over to see it in person.
Topwater, little lunker hunt, prop bait over the top of the lily pads, just slow working it.
We both just stared at it, speechless for a second, before laughing at how unreal it already felt.
Solid 6-7 pound fish.
I'm shaking. Oh. All right, here we go. Oh wow, that was so cool.
Congratulations. Top water lunker hunt blow up on that. Wow.
He turned this thing inside out.
Yeah.
That was so worth it. Oh my God, that was amazing.
I can only imagine how many frogs this beast had feasted on in its life. It was an absolute privilege to hold a fish like that, and even better to release her back into her home.
So cool.
She gave my bait a serious thrashing, flipped it inside out, and it took me a second to figure out how to even re-rig it properly, but I didn't care. I was on cloud 9. My first real experience pulling a bass out of thick lily pads was a total success. But it did not take long to realize it wouldn't always go that smoothly. Bass out here are really good at diving for cover. The moment they feel tension, they shoot into the nearest lily patch and bury themselves deep. Thankfully, the Hobie kayak was perfect for this kind of fishing. I could glide quietly into the pads, gently parting them as I moved, without tearing them up or making a mess. And honestly, just sitting there in the middle of those lily pads, it felt like being in a world completely my own. Lily Pad City, and I had a front row seat. I got plenty familiar with the neighborhood too, pulling hooks free, unwrapping line from stalks, and chasing down fish that wanted no part of being caught. Eventually, that trusty June bug worm wore out. I swapped it for a purple one, hoping to keep the bite alive, but after just a few casts, I knew it wasn't the right move. Wrong contrast, wrong visibility for the water clarity. But I've gotten better about that. About recognizing when a bait just doesn't match the conditions and not wasting too much time and being stubborn with it. So, back into the bag it went. Still totally reusable thanks to the forgiving nature of soft plastics. And the June bug worm went back on. And guess what? So did the bass.
You just hide a little. There you go. Another beautiful little bass for us. He's awesome. There we go. Oh. Oh, he is still on. Oh, he is still on. All right. Hey, buddy.
And here's where I just want to take a moment and say thank you. When we launched this channel, I honestly had no idea what to expect. But in just a few days, we hit 2,000 subscribers. And in just 2 weeks, one of our videos, the Lake Okeechobee trip, hit over 16,000 views. The support has been incredible, from the comments, the likes, the shares, to the folks who've reached out with encouragement or tips. I was not prepared for that kind of response, but I can't tell you how much I appreciate it.
All right, I wouldn't have believed this if it didn't just happen.
On top of that, I've already had companies reaching out to send gear to test and review. And most exciting of all, we're now officially sponsored by a popular soft bait company I've personally used and love. I'll be announcing that in the next video. But for now, just know I'm really grateful to be able to share these adventures with you, and I can't wait to keep this journey going.
Love you, buddy.
Now, here's the amazing thing about this lake. There are only about 4 or 5 homes on it, and as a result, it doesn't get fished
That was
often.
cool.
You could feel it in the way the bass were hitting. Unpressured, healthy, and aggressive. These weren't sore-lipped, lure-shy public water fish. These bass were ready.
Ooh. There we go. It's a nice one. Oh. All right. Yeah. Red Zoom did not disappoint. All right. Oh, man. That is such a beautiful fish. There we go. Awesome. Get her back in. Man, all right. Well, can't complain with that. First cast with the red worm. She must have picked that up and then swam towards me with it, 'cause oh. He's still on. I don't know that feeler. She might have come off. Oh, I think that one came off. So what I was saying is, I feel like she grabbed that up and swam towards me because I started working it, and I was like, why don't I feel the weight hitting the bottom? Why don't I feel like anything? Ooh. Man, they're tearing these worms up. Chewing. Straight chewing. Alright, let's see if she wants to go for it again. No, she popped off. Shoot. Oh, this one. This one actually straight took the worm. Oh, wait. She gave it back. So far from getting from Tom's dock all the way over here, I've pretty much had nothing but lilies to work around and on the edges of, and like, clearly I've had some luck, but I'm also really excited to work this little stretch of shoreline right here that is just kind of grassy. Oh. Shucks. There we go. Nice bass. Gosh. Awesome. Look at you. Beautiful. There he is. Super cool. Did in fact come back and eat it. Oh, he also chewed me up real good, but you know what we can do about that? Just bite a little off the end, make a brand new worm. Mm-hmm. Now, this is a lot of shoreline. It's actually pretty incredible just how deep this grass goes. And what's even more incredible is we are really seeing like the amount of bass in this lake and how healthy they are. And I think it's partly because of the amount of habitat for smaller fish and for their food sources that we're seeing. Unfortunately, we see a lot in Florida's waterways, these companies that come in and spray the vegetation along the bank. And all that does is add chemicals to the water, and it kills all this incredible habitat that the basses and the other fishes' food source live in and breed in and have somewhere to hide. Because when you have this incredible abundance of habitat for the small prey items, they're able to flourish. And therefore the bass can flourish. But when you don't have that, when you spray it and kill it all, then things just aren't as healthy. It is also really amazing to fish an area where the fish just have not been as pressured. I mean, it is obvious, whatever I'm putting in front of these fish, they are just like gobbling it up. There we go. Oh, little drag. Okay. Okay. All right. Look at you. Hey, buddy. Awesome. How beautiful. So cool. It's a wiggly one. Oh, wow. This area is just so incredible too. Oh. Oh. What was that? Oh, there's a spider on it. Boogity boogity boogity. This is just incredible looking. Look at this. This is amazing. Cypress trees with the Spanish moss hanging off of them. These lily pads that just stretch on and on. I mean, like, this is magnificent. Let's see, I think they're all the way over there. Oh, Jerry's reeling a fish. I've barely made it a quarter of my way, and I have just been non-stop getting slammed by fish. Okay, this little pocket right here looks real cute. If I was a fish, I'd live in that. Oh yeah. Whoa, baby. Okay. Little buddy. Alright, I'm only doing this once. So cool. Alright, that little pocket right there. That's what we're going for. Like, why does that little pocket look so good? It just looks so good. Oh man, they're chewing this boy up. Chewing. Oh. Oh wait, we're on. Oh shit. Oh my gosh. Oh. That was so funny. Okay. Wow. That was so funny. Another. One more, please. Too awesome.
There are so many things in life that I'm grateful for. The happiness and health of my friends and family, the ability to slow down and fully immerse myself in the outdoors, and moments like this, where I can just breathe and be present. Sometimes, when the pressure builds up, whether from life, work, or just the everyday noise, there's nothing quite like the simplicity of bending a rod and landing a fish. The sound of that drag, the splash, the weight of a fish on the line, it clears your head in a way nothing else really can. At least for me.
Oh, we stopped to smell the flowers and then catch another bass. It's funny. Oh, what's he got on his cheek? What is that? What is that? Is that a little bug? Some kind of weird little bug? Oh, I don't like that. Give me your bug. Get out of here, bug. Alright. Oh, he's got a few of them. Oh, that's so weird. Alright, well, if you know what that is, drop it in the comments below. Holy smokes. It was so funny, though. I was looking at that lily and saw him hitting over there. Just decided.
The views out here alone made this trip worth it. The way the lily pads stretched out in front of me, swaying in the breeze, the sunlight flickering through the cypress trees, and that lily blossom in full bloom. It was a reminder that there's beauty in the details, if you're looking for it.
He actually came back for it. Alright, there we go. So what I've been doing is I've got the worm on one rod. I've got this little lipped bait on the other. I'm working the sides of these lily pads, and if I see a blow up in the center, I'll toss the worm out. If I'm just kind of working along, I'll work the lip bait on the edge here. It's been working pretty well. These lily pads are actually really nice for releasing fish too, because I can just kind of set him on it. He'll be a little bit submerged, get his bearings, and then choom, right at the boat. Right as I was about to pull this out of the water. You're just a baby. That's all you are. Just a little baby.
Fishing has grown so much in popularity, and that's a good thing in a lot of ways. But it also means it's getting harder and harder to find those spots that feel like they used to. You know the kind, where the water's quiet, the fish are biting, and it reminds you of what it felt like to fish when you were a kid. That's exactly what this lake brought back for me. Bass on almost every cast. No overthinking, no pressure, just that pure joy of casting, hooking up, and doing it all over again. The lily pads were so dense, I could slow work a worm across the tops of them, easing it over the pads and letting it dip down into those small open pockets of water in between. It took patience, keeping the bait subtle, making every movement count, but it paid off. Another big fish. It was honestly hard to tell if this one was bigger than the bass I had caught earlier, but in the moment, it felt like it was. But honestly, it didn't matter. It was another absolute unit, another beautiful fish, and I just felt lucky to be the one holding it.
I am in shock. Oh my god. Holy cow. Holy cow. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, you are beautiful. Wow, look at you. Oh, monster. Oh, so awesome. Wow. Oh, another monster. Yes. Oh, here we go. Oh gosh, he's almost hard to pick up one-handed. How awesome is that? Oh, how cool. Oh. Woo! Oh yeah, there she goes. Oh my God, that was so cool. That was so cool. Oh, wow. Oh, that was amazing.
Riding that wave of excitement after catching that last fish was pure, unfiltered joy. And not long after, I got a call from Jerry. It was time to link back up for a bit. Tom had to hop off the water, and once he was out, Jerry and I wasted no time in jumping back in. This time, we got to fish together, side by side, working the stretch of shoreline he and Tom had explored earlier in the day. And what's crazy? Even at this point, we had only fished about half the lake's available shoreline. That's how much water this place had to offer. It just felt endless. As we moved along, Jerry shared something I hadn't really thought about much before, and it made a lot of sense. He pointed out that when you've got a strong wind coming from a particular direction, it'll often push the bait fish towards the downwind shoreline. And if the bait goes there, so do the bass. Coincidentally, that same wind was pushing our kayaks right in that direction, so instead of fighting it, we just let it carry us. We drifted to the far shoreline, tucked ourselves in alongside a thick edge of lilies, and let the wind settle us into place. From there, we started casting out and working our baits back in, slow and steady. And it didn't take long to realize that Jerry was onto something. We were right in the path of schooling bass, and you could see the water shifting with bait movement. Every few casts brought action. And then, Jerry hooked into something heavy. At first, we thought it might be another massive bass, the way it loaded up and held deep. But once we got a look at those pointy teeth, we knew what we were dealing with. Another mudfish, and this one seemed even bigger than the one from the dock earlier. But that might just be because I got to hold this one. Bowfin aren't exactly the prize everyone's aiming for, but man, they put up a fight. And in a lake like this, even the bycatch is prehistoric and wild.
Oh my gosh. That's so funny.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's what put back on the water.
Oh. Good job, baby. Holy cow. He is cool. Oh, holy smokes, he's heavy.
That other one was way bigger yesterday.
Oh my God. All right, buddy. There we go. Oh.
What an incredible fish. As a kid who was obsessed with dinosaurs and who grew up to keep reptiles, I've always had a soft spot for anything that looks a little prehistoric, and the mudfish is absolutely that. They've got that ancient armored vibe. Heavy scales, tough jaw, wild eyes. It's like something that hasn't evolved in a few million years. And honestly, I respect that. Once we got him back in the water, the bass bite was back on.
Holy shit. Oh, that is nice. Oh yeah. He's nice. That's awesome.
Good job. Oh yeah.
Oh shit.
Oh my God.
Ah!
On that big ass bait.
That's an ambitious little guy, huh? That's the size of him.
Really heavy single one.
Oh. Oh my God, he's still on. Oh my God, he's still on.
No, he's not. You can't.
Jerry.
What the fuck is it?
Jerry. What the fuck? That's a big bass. There you go. Here, turn around. Show us real size. Awesome, baby.
I kept working the same shoreline, switching it up just enough to stay productive. And it reminded me, sometimes it's not just about what looks good to us. Sure, you can hold a soft plastic in the water and check the visibility. You can try to guess what might stand out or blend in. But at the end of the day, the fish decide. After several casts with a bait that looked perfect to me, nothing. Not even a nibble. And that's when I knew, wrong bait. So I went back to what had been producing, the red shad worm, and sure enough, first cast, fish on.
On that red worm. It's a pretty good one.
The bite in this area was just non-stop. The schooling bass were stacked up and fired up, and if I wasn't reeling one in on every cast, I was at least getting my bait hammered. You could literally feel the energy in the water. Every twitch of the line, every retrieve, there was tension, like something was always lurking just under the surface, waiting to attack. It was one of those rare fishing windows where you know this is the day people dream about. Eventually, as much as we didn't want to admit it, it was about time to start heading in. We still had to load up, clean up, and hit the road. We had to drive back home. But we also just weren't ready to stop. So we made the call. We'd fish the shoreline on the way back to the dock. But when you're still pulling in bass after bass, pedaling in becomes really difficult to commit to. And then you tell yourself, just one more cast. And then that cast gets blasted. And now you're re-rigging your worm because the fish pulled it off. And then that turns into another cast. Next thing you know, the sun's starting to go down, and you're still out there smiling, sore, and not ready to quit. And it didn't stop there. I went on a little run, 4 fish, back to back to back to back. It was one of those surreal stretches where every cast felt like magic. Everything was clicking. The placement, the presentation, the reaction. That's a memory I'll be holding on to for a long time.
Oh, he's pretty. Look at you. Yeah. You're a pretty little guy. Look at all your stripes. Beautiful. Oh, you've got one of those weird little things on you. Oh my God. It's just back to back. Is this the same one? Another. Holy cow. They just don't end.
At the end of the day, we really can't thank Tom enough for letting us visit his beautiful home and fish his private lake. The experience was one of a kind, peaceful, wild, productive, and honestly, priceless. It felt like stepping into another world. Lush, quiet, untouched. And the bite we got to experience, well, that was unreal. I got to test out a bunch of baits I haven't thrown in a long time, and even try a few just for fun rigs I've had sitting in the box for months. And the bass were hitting just about everything we offered. I caught more fish in one day than I think I ever have. And what's crazy? Most of them didn't even make it onto the video. That's how fast-paced the action was.
I bet between Jerry and I, we have caught like 150 bass today, if not more. That is so crazy.
More than anything, though, I got to fish a place that was just so incredibly beautiful. Cypress trees dripping with Spanish moss, endless lily pads, fresh water, and healthy, unpressured fish. It reminded me what makes all of this so special. And after nearly 10 hours on the water, soaked in sun and buzzing from the day, let me tell you, they couldn't bring us those sweet teas fast enough at the restaurant we hit afterwards. And to everyone watching, thank you. Seriously. Every like, comment, and subscriber helps keep this thing going. I'm so happy to have a community forming around these trips and stories, and I'm looking forward to bringing you even more adventures like this one. I really hope you enjoyed today's bass fishing episode, aka the best bass fishing day ever. If you did, please give it a like, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next trip. And hey, if there's a bait you'd like to see me throw, drop it in the comments, or just let me know your favorite bait for bass fishing. I read every comment, and I learn a lot from what you all share. We'll definitely be back to this lake. This one was one for the books. Until next cast.